Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. We've still got people logging in. Hold tight. We'll let everybody jump in, and we'll get started from here. All right, you guys. Well, we're waiting for the last few people to log in. Just get comfortable with the controls. So if you're calling in, of course, you've got mute option. If you are joining and you're online, there's a little icon where you can mute your audio. There's it's in the control panel. Also, there's an icon for you to start or pause video. So if you see yourself pop up on the screen, it's totally up to you. But you can stop the video by clicking that stop video icon. Joe or Mickey, one of you guys want to get us started?
I'm sorry, what?
Hello, Joe. Good morning.
This is Mickey.
Hey, Mickey. How are you?
Doing good.
Would you like to do a quick introduction to everybody before we jump into it?
They all know me.
Oh, hi, Mickey.
Good morning. I think the most of the TMs probably stopped by your booth at the trade show. So we have, I spoke to y'all probably a couple months ago, sat through your webinar, thought it was something that would definitely add value, and a lot of dealers could utilize your services, even if it's just for the analysis. It kind of tells them where they're at and where they need to be. So that's why we're here.
Fantastic. Well, that's a perfect introduction. Joe, you have anything to add?
Nope, I'm good. Let's get it rolling. I'm interested to see it myself.
All right, let's rock and roll. So everybody, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you taking time to work a little bit on your business and stay in it. And we're going to go through. I'm not starting with any kind of PowerPoints or anything, because I want you guys to feel comfortable being able to navigate and find the things that you need when it comes to working with CI Web Group. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm on CI Web Group's website, and there are three buttons or links I'm going to call attention to. First one is digital evaluation request. Right here, if you guys have somebody and want to submit for a digital evaluation, there's a form you can have the dealer filled out right on the website. You can also request a strategy if you have an event that's coming up, or a dealer meeting and you guys need us to come speak at that event, whether it's motivational or technical, if it's a breakout or you need something more keynote, feel free to make those requests. You can do that through the Book Us to Speak button right here. Also, down at the very bottom, there's a little button, Contact Us. You can access it from this icon here, which stays no matter where you go on the site, or you can access it through this right icon. The website's simple for a reason. We want you to be able to get where you need to get quickly. So when you click on Schedule a Meeting, if you've got a dealer you want to schedule a strategy session with, whether they're a current client of ours or not, feel free to just click that button. As soon as you pull it up, you're going to see Miss Lisa Turner. She happens to manage your area, so she's your primary contact for Florida. And all you do is choose a time. Online strategy session. That's if they've got access to a computer. This is what I would choose. And usually it's around a 50-minute session. Sometimes they go over. If you need me to attend because it's a larger or more custom kind of conversation, feel free to ask her and she'll get me on if I'm available. You guys, do me a favor real quick. Go ahead and mute. And then if you have questions, feel free to use the chat box on the control panel. And
I didn't catch where the mute.
So you should have a little icon somewhere on the control panel that says mute.
I don't see it, but I'm on an iPad, so I'm not sure it's showing up.
Gotcha.
I don't see it either.
All right.
And I'm on the latest and greatest, best laptop in the world.
You are. It's probably behind the screen somewhere, or if you bring your mouse all the way to the very top, it may drop down, so the settings may have it minimize itself.
There it is.
You got it? There you go. Other than that, if you don't find the mute button, you just got to hold your breath. All right, very good. So from here, the next thing I'm going to show you is the knowledge base. So if you click on knowledge base, you can go down to the section called Goodman and pull this up. It's got contact information, direct contact information for each one of our account executives. So there's Miss Lisa's information. If you scroll down on the left-hand side under Goodman, you're going to see TSM trainings, which is something we're building to make sure that you have things that will make it easy for you to be able to communicate with dealers as well. I'm going to specifically open up the TSM sales tools. And as you'll see, there's a lot of different links here. So first and foremost, here's how simple this is. If you guys have heard any webinars or you've seen me speak, I try and take dealers through a kind of a mental process of gaining clarity in how consumers search so that they can focus their attention on high leveraged activities and execute to win. And this is a lot of times where they start off that they struggle is they don't have clarity on their marketing strategy. They don't have clarity on what questions to ask. So it's as simple as this. Without clarity, you cannot focus. Without focus, you cannot execute. Without execution, you cannot win. So these guys are getting bombarded from 150 different directions, getting calls from scam artists that call themselves Google, saying they promise a first page listing, to random sales calls from every review system, local directory system there is. And the challenge with all of that is no one has the ability to provide another business with advice on what to do with their business unless they have clarity on their business. They have to know who they are, where they want to go, and what are they working with, which means we've got to be able to do some analysis. We have to do some research. We have to figure out where is this business, where do they want to go, and what are they working with? What are they coming to the table with? What kind of assets? What's their reputation look like? How many reviews do they have? How well are they positioned? How large is their database? How many years have they been doing this? How many technicians they have? What are their annual sales currently? Do they have a marketing budget? What are they investing in? What's working? What's not? What's next? These are all simple tools, or I call them ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. When you're talking to a dealer, before we can make a recommendation, that research has to get done. We have to have clarity in order to be able to execute. And again, your question with them is simple. Where are you? Where do you want to go? And what are we working with? And that means we need to do some research. When it comes down to consumers, that's a lot easier. I ask every single room, every audience. I speak to around 150,000 people on an annual basis across multiple industries. And I think you guys have probably heard me say I'd rather listen to a group of soccer moms tell me how they buy than an advertising agency with their charts and graphs and stats, because that's what matters. It's as simple as that. What do you do when you need something? Or if you're not the shopper, what does your wife do when they need something? And it's as simple as this. I don't know. I Google it. That's what everybody says, the same. Now, if I ask an audience when you Google it, how do you Google it? Some will say, I talk to Alexa, I ask Google Home, I talk to Siri, I type it on my computer, I'm on my iPad, I'm on my computer, I'm on my new laptop. Whatever it is, we have to be available. We have to be an option where they're looking. So in asking consumers, anyone, what do you do when you need a product or service? I Google it. Then what? I read the reviews. I check out their website. Sometimes I'll look at their social media sites. And what do you do if the website looks bad? Keep looking. If it's blah, what do? Keep looking. If it's good, check out the reviews. If they're bad, what do? Keep searching. If they're indifferent, they're not great, there's not many of them, what do? Keep searching. The logic behind selling your guys' products is beyond simple. Beyond simple. And every day a dealer waits to position themselves so A, they're an option for what you want to sell, where you want to sell it, where people are looking. That just means that all of the competitors around them are building their artillery base faster, which is going to make it more difficult to catch up. So when we understand the simplicity of this, you guys don't have to ask for new business. The dealer doesn't have to sell things at the lowest rate that they possibly can, which because they only have a couple leads to deal with, they're going to come in with the lowest possible price because they absolutely have to make this sale. That results in them not having the financials to be able to pay well. Then they don't keep staff, and then it turns into a nightmare, and it just continues that cycle. So we have to get them to this point. The solution, it's essentially being positioned well for what you want to sell, where you want to sell it, where people are looking. So everything is interdependent. Your website, social media, your content, your SEO, your local directories, your reviews. This is where the 12-step roadmap comes into play. And I know you guys have heard me talk about this. The 12-step roadmap is essentially designed to allow anyone to audit a company to determine where are we at, what are we working with, what's working, do more of it, what's not, let's reallocate it to something that is, and what's next. The more that you can use this phraseology, the more that it resonates with yourself and the dealers. These simple things, which is why you'll hear me repeat things in a simple format, is because the dealers will be able to eventually communicate using the same language. Their mindset will be focused on the same things. And you will be so surprised. We have dealers that have been with us for 10 years now, and they'll call in and they'll say, all right, we need to talk about step 4, or we need to add more of step 7. And when they get to that point, they'll say, you know what, I don't think pay-per-click's working, so let's reallocate it to something that is. SEO seems to be providing the best opportunities, so let's move it. Also, we want to talk about what's next. So these little things, when you see them, memorize them and use them with your dealers so that it's consistent. We're all speaking the same language. And if you hear a trainer talking to your dealers, they need to memorize similar language too, because the more that these dealers hear multiple variations of terminology and language, the more confused they get. We don't want them sitting in a stage of discombobulation. We want it to be simple, 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 simple. So when you get to the 12-step roadmap, first and foremost, we have a ebook, which is a guide for you guys to be able to understand the basics of this stuff. Do you have to know everything about digital marketing? Absolutely not. What you need to know is there's a series of steps that, when done in the right order, will produce consistent progress when it comes to growing a business. What you need to know is that these entrepreneurs quit their day jobs and their insurance and their regular paychecks to start a business because they've convinced their spouse, their wife, whomever, that they can gain more time, more money, and more freedom. And that's the nuts and bolts of their world. They don't feel like they have more time, more money, and more freedom. So we have to be able to use a system to get them to move. You guys will never have to ask for orders if they have plenty of calls. It's that simple. If you help them get there, you have the longevity, you have the relationship, they'll be pressed to take on another manufacturer or have another TSM offer them some cupcakes and cookies and switch gears. You can solidify your relationship with these dealers by being an asset and helping them accomplish their goals. Their goals are not sell products. Their goals are time, money, and freedom. They're entrepreneurs, and we have to think of them like that. Now, starts with this: web design, content, CRM and online scheduling, local listings, reviews, social media, SEO, video, blogging, email, text, PPC, mobile, and more. Hey, this is completely designed to do the right things in the right order at the right time. For example, if you go spend money on number 11, pay-per-click, and your website looks bad, you lose. If you design and develop a website and you don't have content, you can't finish it. If you have 100 phrases on page 1 of Google for what you want to sell in the cities you want to sell it, in the top 10 listings where consumers are searching, and your reviews look horrible or are non-existent, you lose. If the last time you posted content was 2014, a consumer thinks your business is closed. So there is no environment where ultimately you can pick 1 or 2 of these and call it a day. We have to scale into making sure that our digital presence, which is inclusive of how you look on the local directories like Google Business Listing and Yelp and City Search and Google Maps and Bing and Yahoo and all of these other sites. It's inclusive of making sure that you look like other people like you, which is your reviews. That you look transparent and authentic, which is your social media. That you are an option for what you want to sell, where you want to sell it, where people are looking, which is the combination of a well-done website, content for the different services, SEO to make them number 1. This process will help your dealers build a business that grows over time. It will help them scale and make it easy. All right, so this PowerPoint, it's a simple PowerPoint. It's got our team's contact information on it. Feel free to use it anytime you want. Also, in here we have the 12-step roadmap download. The 12-step roadmap is a 12 steps, 12 stages. Doesn't mean you're going to do them all at the same time. And sometimes we don't know what they need first, which is why we got to do the research. Okay, that's what those strategy sessions are for. When it comes to your website, that's a program of its own. 12 steps, 12 stages. Once you have professionally designed website, having it professionally developed, maintaining that so you stick with current guidelines, those are critical. So right now, on a side note, we are in a really precarious time. Google is launching and has launched some new initiatives. And if you're not familiar with new initiatives on Google, these are algorithm changes. You can Google algorithm changes and you'll get an idea of the major changes that can help or hurt any business, every business online, and the frequency of them. We're in the middle of a major change. Now, your primary website content management system, which is WordPress, is following that change and making a significant upgrade to version 4.0. So without getting too far down that, in the next few months, the change that Google is making, which is a mobile first initiative, not mobile responsive, mobile first, and WordPress's upgrade to the newest version, that is going to literally impact every single website that is not properly prepared for the mobile first initiative, which means Google's essentially going to be evaluating the mobile version of your website content and SEO structure before it evaluates your actual website. So if your actual website is huge, it's long, there's many containers, there's lots of images and graphics and widgets and bells and all this stuff on it, your mobile version is going to be really, really, really long. In addition to optimize or to tell Google, and what optimization means is essentially just like filing pieces of paper and folders inside a file cabinet. You have a green hang folder with the label, that's your metadata title. You have a manila envelope with the folder, that's your permalink and H1 title, your header title. You have a description, which is the body content of a page. All of these things, there are two different versions of them. There is one for web and there is a different version for mobile, because when people are searching and they're querying on their phones, it's a different kind of search. They're either talking to the device or they're using their two thumbs to text into it. And that's different than typing on a computer. So when these kind of changes take place for Goodman, you could have a relatively significant dip in business if these things are not addressed in our world. And we're still on stage 3, which is maintenance, making sure that, and the technical plan, making sure that you are never stuck in a static website. Because imagine if the car you're driving today, all of a sudden there was an upgrade to gas and your car doesn't use that kind of gas, and tomorrow you can't get gas. It doesn't work. That's effectively what these major changes take place. So we need the dealers to not think about a website as a project. It's a living thing that is right now the primary place that consumers are converting, that they're ready to buy. So it can't stay static. It can't stay the same. And the reality is a lot of times dealers will have their own personal perception of what they want their website to look like, how much stuff is in it. Sometimes it's nothing, which that doesn't help them. Sometimes it's too much. That doesn't help them either. They've got to, they have to trust that there's a reason and a rationale for certain decisions. Okay. In getting into content, I'm going to pull something up that's going to help you guys get an idea of how this works. So if you think about your catalog of products, that catalog ties into what a consumer thinks they need, but they don't know. Every one of these search terms is a heavily used search term by consumers, whether it is accurate or not. I had a gentleman in a speaking event 3 weeks ago, and it was one of our clients. I could see him in the audience, had around 100 people sitting in there at the horse races in California. And he's on the edge of his seat. I could tell he wanted to interrupt right in the middle. And I was like, all right. What you got? And he was like, my website has a page on it called geothermal. And we can't do geothermal. Geothermal in California, we got clay grounds in the ground. And he started going. And I was like, okay. What's going on? And he was like, I've got 3 calls for geothermal. I don't know why this is on my website. And I was like, okay, so when you got the call, what did you say? And he said, well, I said, we can't do it. It's geothermal, and we can't install it. And I said, okay, what did you tell him you could install? And he said, well, I explained what they have to have being in California. And I was like, fantastic. And then what'd you do? And he said, well, I set an appointment to sell him the right thing. I was like, fantastic, sit down. So all of a sudden, he goes, oh, all right. He had a light bulb moment. That's okay. Sometimes consumers don't understand. So if a consumer says something like, ductless heater installation, then great. I had a gentleman tell me yesterday, there's no such thing as a ductless heater installation. I was like, well, if they're looking for it, there is. So sometimes we have to help these guys not be so smart because consumers are not subject matter experts. Every single search term, and you guys, the list is long and it grows and grows and grows. Every search term, if you're in Seattle, Washington, then you may be doing a houseboat air conditioner installation, floating home air conditioner installation, garage or basement heating and air conditioning, and so forth. If you're sitting in Denver, Colorado, it might be distilleries and dispensaries. If you're sitting in California, it might be wine cellar installation. So every place has unique search terms where consumers are actually searching further than AC repair. Each one of these search terms, that is a page of content on a dealer's website, sitting on page 1 in the top 10, is a cash machine. I'm going to pull up rankings. So I'll just grab the first site in the list. And I'm going to go to keyword rankings. This is for a company called Barron's. Central Heating, Ferndale, Washington. This is page 1, number 1, 2, and 3. Emergency heat pump repair, Bellingham, Washington. This is page 1, number 1. Furnace tune-up in Blaine, Washington, 1, 2, 3. Every single one of these search terms that's looked for by a consumer that's sitting in page 1, 1, 2, 3, is a cash machine. Not only can we get them ranked in page 1, position 1, but if they have content related to that service, multiple pages of content related to the service, we can have them own and occupy not page 1, number 1, but page 1, number 1, 2, and 3. The more of these phrases that the dealer ranks for, so when somebody's looking for central HVAC systems, for example, when the dealer is page 1, number 1, 2, and 3, they are now in a position to own and occupy and convert the largest volume of business for that particular search term. So they have 3 cash machines sitting on this page. They're going to get the majority of the results. Now, what makes this dealer stand out from all the other options is this. Right here, you'll notice that the dealer is ranked with stars showing in the SERP listing, which is SERP listing is a search engine results page. We've done case studies and continue to do them on a regular basis where we handed a group of consumers a screenshot of a listing that looked just like this. And the 8th listing on that screenshot, there was these little stars sitting on page 1 of Google, and we asked the consumers to choose which dealer or which link would they click on. They sat in round tables, they argued back and forth, they were debating and debating and debating, and finally each table presented exactly what they would do, and everybody forcefully said, we're going to click on number 8 in the bottom half of page 1 search results. What they didn't notice, and was an aha moment for them, was every single link above that was the same company in your guys' area, at least Florida. Air Care Systems Inc. And for that particular search phrase, they were on page 1 of Google, position 1 through 8. There were only 2 other options when somebody was searching. The combination of 12 steps that allows that to take place is 1, a well-designed and well-developed current website with 8 pages of content related to something that was a high ticket and high volume item they want to sell. And they had schematic markup coded into their site where they were getting reviews directly on their website, and those reviews were showcased on that particular page. While their competitor was out getting reviews on Yelp and Better Business Bureau and Home Advisor, our client was getting reviews in the two places that matter, which is Google Business Listing and directly on their website, which turns into them being the number one listed and having the most conversions for the things they want to sell in the cities they want to sell them. So as you go through and as you start thinking about your catalog, think about, what if my catalog of things I want to sell, I want these boxes out of my warehouse, and if my catalog and the items in it are on page 1 of Google in the city my dealer is listed and the cities around them, it's all that matters in marketing. As long as other people like your dealer, you're good to go. So when I say other people like your dealer, that is step number 5, which is reviews. These are third-party reviews. If I look for, I'm going to go Folks. We'll go Folks Heating and Cooling, Air Care Systems, Inc. Who else? I'm going to show you another one who didn't have as much success. Okay? Well, it's better. So, this gentleman has been with us now for how many years? 8 years? Almost 10 years? Okay. And he has been working through the 12-step roadmap program for many, many years with us. He listens, he for the most part, we have a few debates, but he will implement something new every single year. So you'll notice when you Google for this company, he looks good. He looks good, right? Consumers are going to, he owns the first listing, not just the first listing, but also his website shows up, page 1, number 1, 2, 3, 4. Then his Yelp and Facebook and Better Business and Review Buzz and Home Advisors are all below it. So you don't want to have Yelp sitting above your dealer's website. In that situation, all we're doing is sending somebody to another search engine with more dealers on it. So you're putting competitors in front of them. Their website has to own and occupy this place, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it has to happen. On the right-hand side, their Google Business Listing is properly optimized, open 24 hours, so it doesn't say they're closed and unavailable at 5:01 p.m. Their phone number is clean and clear. It looks like people love them. They've got all of their reviews from their different applications integrated into it. And this listing comes up frequently because it's optimized and there's new content being posted regularly. I'll move into Air Care Systems, which came on board around the same time. Air Care Systems is a very difficult term to optimize for because it's pretty simple. It's used quite commonly. So you'll notice here there's 4.7 million pages in this drawer. I got to make sure for Air Care Systems that they're number 1 of 4.7, which is much more difficult than something as simple as Folks Heating and Air Conditioning, where there's 17,000 pages. He needs to be number 1 of 17,000 pages versus here, we need to be number 1 of 4.7 million pages. They've been working on building their Google business listings. The reviews are showcased on their local directories. This has been their primary focus. Now in this situation, this is a dealer that we were working with and we got him on page 1 of Google for over 200 phrases, products they want to sell in cities they want to sell it, and his phone wouldn't ring. Challenge being, when we were working on it, we could not get them to focus on gathering positive reviews in a place that mattered, which we needed this Google business listing to rank with positive reviews. Now, since then, I see they've got 3 reviews with an average rating of 3.7. But if we go back to that PowerPoint and know how do consumers search, I go online, I do a search. If you're an option, page 1, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And your website looks good, it's not scary, doesn't look like you built it yourself. Then I look at your reviews to see, do other people like you? And congratulations, you might get the opportunity to pitch a new client. This is where they got stopped. So this was the exit for those consumers. They just simply stopped, and they did what? They kept looking. So for those of you that may have clients that are already working with us, it's really important to understand and know what a visibility ranking is. Essentially, every website can gain a visibility score. So this is what they start with, and this is where we're working. A visibility percent means of the content available on the website, what percent of those pages are ranking in the top 10? So for this particular website, 86% of the content on his website is already ranking on page 1. This is important for you guys because I know you don't want your sales to stay stagnant. So while a dealer may gain a large improvement in the first couple years working with us, if they don't add anything new, if that website is at maximum capacity, meaning all of the content available is already ranking on page 1 of Google, you're not going to see a large sales increase in year 3, because the only thing that can change it is a natural disaster, and I'm sorry for Florida, or a significant new group of people that are moving into a particular area, new construction, but the website cannot perform, or major weather changes. But other than that, the website can't perform more than what it has. And once it's maxed out, it's maxed out. So for you guys, the way to think about this is, I don't want to have a dealer sit on their laurels once they get ranked. They need to keep doing more of what works. Frank, I want to say it's this one. So I'm going to give you another example. 79%. This is an example of a dealer that's sitting in more of a rural area. And I'm not sure which city specifically you guys are in. If you want to type your cities in the chat boxes, just type in the city that your dealers or your marketplace is. Type it in that chat box, and I'll go do some specific searches in the cities you guys are primarily targeting. But I just wanted to show the difference. When we have a dealer that's sitting in a rural area, or just a non-metroplex area, something that's not as popular, we're able to take a small website with a smaller amount of content and get them ranked. That means in the first place position, top 3, top 5, top 10, for many variations of phrases. Whereas if you have someone that is in a more centralized metroplex area with a larger population, that's going to be more difficult. You guys, do me a favor, type in the chat box or unmute for just a second and tell me some primary cities you're focused on. This is a spot check to make sure you're not multitasking. Tampa. Gotcha. All right, what else? Port Richey. That's a tough one. Thank you, Mary Lou. Orlando. Lakeland. Eric. All right, those that put in Port Richey, Orlando, and Tampa, I want you to think about the cities that surround those major areas. Winter Park, perfect. So think about cities that are outside of your major metropolitan areas. Reduced population, less opportunity. Perfect. By nature, everybody wants the biggest and the greatest, which means I want to go after the largest potential opportunity there is. In a search engine environment, we have to train them to rethink how they're targeting. If their physical office is actually located in Tampa, Florida, they don't have a choice. They're going to have to focus on Tampa first. Same thing with Orlando, same thing with Port Richey, and a secondary area, secondary city, will have to optimize for so that they can get results faster. So I'm going to show you some different search terms as far as how consumers who are actually typing into a computer will search. They'll look for AC installation, Orlando. This number means everything. This is the number of competing pages inside this drawer. So in order for the dealer to make any money in Orlando for AC installation, they have to be in the top 10 of 6.6 million results. That's going to take a minute. They're going to have to work harder. They're going to have more time online, a better website, better content, more backlinks, more reviews, better social media, more local listings, reviews in more places. They're going to have to work a heck of a lot harder and have patience to be able to get ranked. Now you'll notice none of these guys that are showing up here have any stars. Look at that. That's funny. That's great. Icons. Huh. That's interesting. And it's not secure. So the other thing I notice on here is Google has a pretty significant change coming where it has placed a lot of weight on a secure website. So you'll notice this right here. It says https://www.blank.com. That is Google's preferred URL structure. So there are companies ranking on page 1 of Google right now that are not secure websites and not in Google's secure or preferred URL structure. To me, what that means is there's an opportunity to compete with a company like this, who's currently sitting on page 1 of Google, whose website is not on the W's, doesn't have a secure HTTPS, which is an SSL certificate. They are sitting duck for one Google change and them to swoop through and to snag, give someone else the opportunity to take this spot. Page 1, number 1, he's a sitting duck. He doesn't have the site set up with www. It's not secure. Multiple problems with this one. So just because someone is sitting in a particular spot right now, it doesn't mean they're going to be there forever. One Google change, a swoop through that particular listing, and boom, you could be in a different position. All right, so next I'm going to show you down here at the bottom. These are called LSIs, which essentially these are Google's recommended searches based on how consumers are searching. So these are high or frequently searched terms that are relevant to the one you looked for. So AC Repair Orlando, there's 3.9 million pages. Your dealer needs to sit in the top 10 in order to be an option. Now, explaining the top half, this Google guarantee is a new, relatively new, I want to say they started this 2 years ago. They were testing in Sacramento and Toronto first. An important note regarding that, sometimes dealers will want to work with someone that is local, meaning that all of their business is in the area that's closest to them. Do I recommend that? The answer is no. And the reason behind that is Google doesn't test nationwide. It tests in small pocket of the United States. Primarily, it's going to test in the Bay Area. It's going to test in small pockets within Canada. So it doesn't always announce what's coming. So our dealers that were sitting in Sacramento got hit with this change. And we were able to tell every other dealer across the United States, hey, this is coming. They're testing. Now, when Google first tested, it actually removed the entire map and it removed the pay-per-click ads, and it only had a map with these Google guaranteed ads. So if you can imagine an entire group of businesses in Sacramento and the surrounding areas, literally their phones stopped ringing on one day. The day Google put up their guaranteed business ad spots, replaced the map, and got rid of the ads. So for any dealer that did not also concentrate on getting page 1 ranked in the organic area down here, which is based on content, search engine optimization, reviews, social and local, if they didn't do that, then they were literally stuck. It's like them cutting their phone cords in one day. So sometimes we have to send out notices to clients, and they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear their strategy has to change, or they don't want to hear that, something major is coming and pay attention to it. Their first inclination is, oh, you're just trying to sell me something. No, I'm trying to protect you from you because this is not good. All right, so I'm going to switch gears. Let's get out of Orlando. I'm going to go to Lakeland. And I want you to notice the number of page results and it's changed. So instead of there being 6 million or 7 million, Eric, for this area, for you, this is a great search area. There's a heck of a lot less competition. So in our world, depending on what the dealer is working with, so where you are, what are you working with, where do you want to go, if they are not ranked at all, if they don't have a website, then this math is going to be different. If they do have a decent website and it just takes replacement and they do have content and their reviews do look good and their local listings are in place, then they're going to be able to make this happen faster. But essentially, they only need to be in the top 10 of 500,000 results in order to start generating new business here, which is sitting here. And this is why we love this industry. This website's not secure. This website's not Google preferred URL and not secure, and it's missing a 301 redirect. Same thing with this one. This is secure website, but missing the W's. So even though these guys are sitting here, because they haven't perfected the basics, absolutely they are a target, and we can, with the right conditions and the right things in place, knock one of these guys off and drop your dealer in a position so they're now the option. And better yet, not just put them as an option, but if their website is ranking with these stars, they are the option. Consumers will naturally convert here. Okay, so hopefully this gives you guys some ideas. Of course, take these cities and do your own searches and get a feel for. The least competition areas are your fastest way to cash. 115,000 page results, AC repair in Oviedo. That's game on. AC installation, more difficult, but doable. Air conditioner installation, 1.2 million, doable. Air conditioner replacement, 1.8 million. AC replacement, Oviedo, Florida, that one, I would go after that all day long. So you're pinning a target and saying there's 300,000 page results. If it takes 30 days per 100,000 results to get ranked, I could spend $15 a month for 3 months on a low geo phrase and get ranked and have a new cash machine sitting there. That's an easy investment, easy pill for someone to swallow, and a high ticket item. So that would make it easy for the dealer as well as you guys to make an impact on your sales quickly. And you'll notice on this one, there's only one showing up with the schema coding with their reviews. That's a beauty. Okay, so as far as costs go, because I know this question is asked constantly, on your TSM sales tools, there's an ebook they can download called HVAC Marketing Guide, but right here it says Digital Marketing Strategies ebook. If you open this up, hit play, this basically walks you and the dealer through all 12 steps. And I'm going to head straight to the end. All of the costs are public. At least, I shouldn't say all of them. There's too many different variables and different things. This gives you guys and the dealer kind of a budgeting tool. Typically a website, it's $2,500 to start. The only difference in costs is the amount of content that needs to be written and the amount of content that needs to be transferred and any custom specifications outside of that. Do they want e-commerce? Or do they want special things designed? Do they need logos designed? So it just depends on that. Content writing, you can budget $100 a page. Of course, the higher quality content, the more words on the page, the higher it goes. The lower quality content, the lower number of words on the page, the lower it goes. Online CRM system and online scheduling system, email marketing, text message marketing. We have a software that we use for all the dealers, and their starting point for that is $80 a month. Local listings, that's the top 60 to 70 local listing directories where we set them up. We fix all their addresses. We monitor them. We market them. We upload content to them. We send them reports when they get a review. We manage duplicate suppressions when there's a competitor that's trying to snag their listing. All 60 of those accounts we take care of for $300 a month. The best reviews acquisition system called Nearby Now, having the dealer have the tool to use it, as well as having our team take that content, create pages, optimize those pages for all the cities they want to rank in, and add those stars to pages on their search results. That's $300 a month for third-party software and all of our work. Social media, they can start 200 points. So as you can see, from SEO standpoint, $15 for a low geo phrase or low competition, all the way to $60 for a high competition phrase. When it boils down to this, we need to think of this extremely scalable. If you have a dealer that has no website, no content, 1 to 3 employees, doing less than $500,000 and maybe $250,000 in sales, they need to think like a bootstrapper, an entrepreneur that bootstraps an option. They need to start with the landing page and expand from there. Start with a clone or a copy of an existing website, start from there, and slowly add content and optimization to be able to get a little bit of business in the door and then keep adding. When you have dealers that have accrual funds, don't wait until March. We miss an entire year, the entire season. If they have accrual funds, if they have $300, they need to order a couple pages of content, some SEO, and let's get it ranked before summer kicks in. Or let's get it ranked before tune-up season or maintenance season starts. But if we wait until March, A, it kills us, and B, the dealer could have been adding new content to that site continuously, making progress instead of waiting to make progress until the next year. So bootstrap it if they're small. If you have a dealer that's doing $750,000 or less, or around that $750,000, then they should be looking at a higher budget. So the lower sales volumes, the higher your marketing budget. The higher your sales volumes, the lower your marketing budget. So if they're doing 20 million a year, they probably have a 1% digital marketing budget. Whereas if they're doing less than $1 million a year, they should be at around that 10%. So this gives you sample plans of how to construct a marketing plan. Again, these are samples. They're only based on the company size. We still have to go in and say, what are they working with? Where are they? Where do they want to go? And then we'll be able to construct something simple for them. So I know that everybody just wants a plan, like pick from bronze, silver, platinum kind of thing. I know that that's the simple way. It's not the smart way. So can we do that? If you have a group of dealers that are a specific size, you say, I've got X number of dealers, they're all less than, doing less than $500,000, they're 3 employees or less, and hardly any of them have websites. That's the kind of data we need to say, we will put together a 1-page plan for you to present to them that is simple, where they don't have to go through everything that's complex, and say, here's an option. Maybe it's available in your guys' PAP program and you can utilize that. Or if you have accrual funds, you can utilize that. I know that corporate has offered an extension through May, I believe, to get these dealers up and running. But essentially, if you give us the range, who are you going to talk to? We can develop a singular plan for each one of them to make it something that's easy for you guys to sit down and have a conversation with, if that's something you want. Of course, if you don't want to get involved in all this stuff, you've got enough information to know that by playing an asset and referring them over to Lisa, letting them have a strategy session with our company, that we can take them through this process independently, and then you can help support us on more of a long-term basis in having something new to bring to your dealers. Once they're working with us, you can call up our company and you can ask for reports on their strategy and their status and what's happening, and you have something new you can bring to the table over the life cycle of your relationship with them, which is significantly going to make you stand out when you're trying to acquire new dealers as well as retain existing ones. And grow your own sales plan. So with that, any questions? Don't forget to unmute. I'm going to unmute you all. Donnie, any questions? Eric, any questions, thoughts?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Joe, any questions or thoughts?
Yeah, I just realized I have to unmute both my phone and the computer.
There you go.
So you had a cost on that last page we looked at with a one-time payment. So yeah, there are payment plans available. Then you do the one-time payment and then it's $300 a month. Is that correct?
That's an option.
One-time payment.
You can do, so we've got dealers that are on payment plans where they're paying over 6 months. So they'll take the $2,500 and divide it over 6 months. We have dealers that get a landing page, which is only $1,000. If they're coming to the table with no content, a landing page is one of the best things to get into because they don't typically budget for content, nor do they want to write it. So if we can at least get them started inside a landing page, that'll give them a very nice looking 1-page website that they can add to over time. Then they're not paying for, an entire site to be designed and developed, but they can add content to it, meaning they can add 1 page at a time as budget permits.
Perfect. Now, how does everybody get a hold of you once they're all excited about it and have a little bit of knowledge and want to go talk to the dealers about it? How do we circle back around and get to you?
So really easy. Go to CI Web Group. As soon as you're on CI's on the site, you can click on Contact Us. You can schedule a meeting. You can submit a digital evaluation. So this whole right side is how you contact us. Schedule, call, contact, or request a digital evaluation. And once you have Lisa, let me make sure you have Lisa's contact information. So in this knowledge base, which we'll send you links to all this so you have it, you have account executives for CODs. Lisa's contact information is right here. So grab your phone, snap a picture, your computer screen, or screenshot this page, and you've got all of her direct information. You can contact her direct as well.
And I want to say, no, gentlemen, good morning, that I do work pretty much 24/7. So if you try to reach out to me, if I don't get back to you, as soon as you call me, believe me, within the hour, I'll be calling you back.
Lisa's a lover. She loves on the dealers.
I'm very excited about the Florida.
Shoot, go ahead.
Could I send you a website of a couple dealers to get your take on it before I talk to the dealer about it?
Absolutely.
I thought it'd be a good idea to say, hey, I had someone, assess your website. There are a lot of things we can do, and only for an average price of this to start, we can make your phone ring a lot more, something like that.
So first, the answer to the first half of the question is absolutely. You guys can request digital evaluations where we'll run all the reports for you, and we'll email you. It's a template that has all of the stats and the report links that come back from our analyst team. You'll get that in an email, and you'll be able to present that to the dealer. What I want you to be careful of is a website independently is not going to go get them leads. It's going to help them close the business they're already working to secure.
Right.
You've got to have marketing with that. They have to have the other things in place. So step one is we want to brand your company well so you don't look scary. Step two is we want to help you convert the business that you guys are already really working hard to get. The referral business that comes from your happy existing customers. You need to convert that business. Step three is let's get this website attached to a marketing plan that's going to help you generate new business. So we never want to overcommit. I think everybody that knows me, I'm probably overly honest about stuff because they're already, I don't have to tell you, your dealers. So don't overcommit. It has to be done in phases. But the answer is yes, absolutely. You can send us. You can even email Lisa directly and say, here's my 3 dealers, I want to talk to this week. And she'll have the analyst get them. It takes about 5 hours per report. So if I'm speaking and I give them 400 to evaluate this month, that's going to take a little bit more time versus during the summer I'm not speaking, then they can get them done really quick.
Who was that who just spoke? May I ask? Excuse me. The one that requested an evaluation to be sent over directly to the TSM.
Hello?
Hello?
That was me. Bill Essler is my name.
Okay. All right, Bill. I look forward to talking to you.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions, you guys? And this is the opportunity. You've got us. Anything you need, questions, complaints. It doesn't matter what it is because we can help with anything. This is not an easy process for the dealers. Building a website, and I'll just say it like it is, it sucks. It is. It's a pain. It is. They have to care about their business as much as we do. Both people have to come to the table with more than an appetite. So they do have to participate. For the dealer, if you have a dealer that says something like, Lisa, mute for me. If you have a dealer that says something like, well, I just want to hand it over to them and I don't want to participate, and we'll tell them to jump in a lake. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They have to participate. There is a document under website design and development. Again, I'm in this knowledge base on our website. Click on knowledge base. And this is the process. from beginning to end, this will tell them when you're building a website exactly how it works from beginning to end. Do they love it? No. And no different than my mother told me starting my own company, it's going to be hard. So what we have to do is we have to drag out of them the tribal knowledge and the reason why they're different. We have to separate them from everyone else. So if we're selling them on the fact that CI Web Group knows HVAC and they can do all this without you, that's not a good answer. They have to participate. Are we going to take up a tremendous amount of their time? No. They're going to have 3 major stages they need to participate in. First and foremost is milestone 1 and 2, which is their project launch and onboarding forms. They have to participate. The more they do here, the less they'll have to do anywhere else. Milestone 3, they have to review and approve their design before we start coding anything. If they don't approve that design, then it ain't going to happen either. And finally, they have to do a development site review. They should have already approved the design, so they should know what it's going to look like, what's finalizing all the small details of it, and then they got to go live. So there are points which they need to participate, but if they need to talk after hours or talk on a weekend, our project management team is incredible. They'll make arrangements to be able to meet with them on their schedule. In order to get this done, depending on all the services they order, this is the list of resources that are working on their project. They're going to have a big team, and they'll have one primary project manager that works with them. If they don't like them, they can ask for a new one. Sometimes people don't get along, and that's fine. No one needs to get frustrated. That's the one thing you can absolutely commit to is no one has to get upset with CI Web Group to get somebody to care. Our team cares immensely. They want the dealers to enjoy the process. They want them to love their new website. They want them to love the results, and they care deeply. So that's not something that you ever have to worry about. Usually the challenge is just it's expectations and understanding. I had a dealer yesterday. He said, why am I on page 1 of Google for ductless heater installation? And in his mind, that's not a thing. But in our reports, our data, we show it is to consumers. So usually it's those kind of conflicts that just education, and they'll learn over time. They just be patient and learn. As far as recommending how long does it take to get a website done, in here there's something that we go over with the dealers. It's project timeline and expectations. This explains how projects start, and it also says based on the number of pages we have to write and or transfer, this is the expected time frame for their website to get done. Now, an interesting kind of figure for you guys or assumption is, based on our experience, if you look at a dealer's website, so if I take any dealer, this one for example, if you get rid of this and say site : and then the dealer's site, it's going to tell you the number of pages. When you guys are hunting for new dealers, this is a great tool to figure out the size of the dealer. The number of pages on their website typically ties into the volume of sales, their annual sales. For a dealer that has less than 15 pages on their website, they're probably doing less than $250,000 in gross sales. If they have 100 pages on their website, they may be hitting around $1 million, $1.5 million. If they have 400 pages on their website, they're probably sitting around a 15 million annual sales. 200, they're probably sitting around 6 million, 7 million. So I don't know if that's a guide you guys have used in the past, but the number of pages on their website does typically tie into their sales. There are exceptions for somebody that's doing a lot of advertising or they've acquired companies. There's exceptions to that, but it's a good assumption to use if you guys are hunting for dealers to work with. All right, you guys. If you have any questions or you need help, please feel free to call. Lisa's your best point of contact, but if you have questions specifically for me, she can get us on a phone call outside of travel and speaking events. And of course, I highly recommend if you guys are having any kind of dealer functions, dealer meetings, please get on my calendar. Kathy Marshall is who schedules all of my trainings, speaking events, travel schedule. So get on the phone with Kathy, get those dates reserved as soon as possible, and I'd be happy to come out and do full day, half day, 2-day, whatever you need as far as a workshop for your dealers as well as your TSMs. We just ask that the TSMs participate. Let's go get it. All right, you guys, let's go have a productive week. We look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to reach out, and let's rock and roll.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks so much.
Have a great day.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks, everyone.